Hey nerds, we are talking about Star Trek Lower Decks, Episode 9 of Season 3, Trusted Sources. We're going to review the episode and then get into a spoiler breakdown starting now. Welcome to Nerd Soul Show. I am Nathan.
And I'm Kendra.
Hey, so we are at the penultimate episode of the season, and the spoiler-free logline for this episode is a visiting reporter on the Cerritos puts Captain Freeman on edge. So, Condra, what did you think of this episode?
I enjoyed it. I think so. We weren't expecting it, right? We weren't sure if they were going to drop another 2 episodes, but I think you see the relationship between Beckett and Freeman, Captain Freeman, and how they're still figuring things out and still don't completely trust each other, and that's a great source of tension really in this episode. And this brings in some threads we talked about before that happened earlier in the season, right? So I guess we don't realize it yet, but we see some characters we've seen before, they pop up by the end of the episode. So yeah, it raised the stakes for me. It was an enjoyable, tension-filled episode, I think.
Yeah, I like the episode as well. As you said, it's mostly focused on Freeman and Beckett. Usually we really don't get a whole lot of focus on the bridge crew except for in relation to the lower deckers. And in this case, she has a relationship with her mother, of course. So that's going to play into the way that she acts. And we've had some mother-daughter episodes in the past as well. But yeah, it seems like things are coming to a zenith in their relationship in this episode. All of Beckett's struggles over the last several seasons is all coming to a head because Freeman is under a fair amount of pressure, as the logline mentions, because of the reporter on the ship. So yeah, it's a good episode. In our last review, we were concerned that some plot points were going to get dropped, and it doesn't seem like they definitely didn't drop them. So it's interesting to see where things actually end up at the end of this episode. But it's definitely a good penultimate episode for the season because now I want to know where things are going in the next episode. So yeah, it was a good episode. And we get to revisit something from the TNG era, which I won't get
Yes.
into, but until we get into the breakdown. But it was definitely a question in the back of my head. If you're a fan of TNG, there's a lot of things like this in TNG because of the episodic nature of the show. So it'll be good to talk about the specific thing that we revisit.
Yeah.
All in all,
it makes you realize how messy those shows were. They were great, right? But so much was left unresolved and forgotten. And you watch episodes like this and be like, oh yeah, whatever happened to those people?
Exactly. Yeah, because every episode is like a reset, and not only that they're resetting almost resetting their brains, resetting their emotions. They go through traumatic events sometimes. Like Picard, I think he only dealt with his traumatic event when he was assimilated by the Borg, but he had other terrible things happen to him and everyone on the crew had terrible things happen to them, and there was but that's episodic television. People complain about Discovery, but at least it has a memory past the end credits scenes of the show. So yeah. But I think this was a good episode. I think probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a good solid episode. Looking forward to talking about the next episode, the finale. All right, so ready to break it down? All right, so after you're enjoying the conversation, please share, like, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. All right, with that, spoilers ahead. So we revisit what do they call it? The Naras from season. Yes. So this is season 1, episode 22 of TNG. So the 2 planets that it was basically the drugs episode.
No, I didn't realize it was season 1. That's a really long time ago. Yeah.
That's why in the beginning they mentioned that it was 17 years since Picard left.
First contact.
And the timeline here of shows. So Prodigy is after Lower Decks. So Lower Decks comes first, then Prodigy, and then Picard is even further out, 10 years out from where Lower Decks is. So this is 17 years 10 years off from where TNG ended, but very soon after Nemesis. So 17 years from season 1. Yeah,
but it's also just a really long time to have first contact.
Not even check
leave those planets in this state because the Onarans were basically dependent on
for the Brecons. From the
Brecons. Yeah. They left them in a pretty dire state. Somebody would say at least let's swing by and scan the planets every so often just to be sure that they were okay.
I think so, but I think the way that ended is that they lean really hard into the Prime Directive, and sometimes in some episodes they lean into the Prime Directive, and then in some episodes completely ignore it. And the same captain would do that. In this episode, I think he justified his actions by saying, "I'm not going to do anything." because I'm trying to hold up to the Prime Directive, even though I think that they did, as they say in this episode, cut off communication between the worlds.
So you leave a planet full of drug
Yeah.
addicts, essentially,
And
coming off
yeah, and this episode also like threads the needle between criticizing Picard and not criticizing Picard, because when they get to the planet, the Narans are fine, but then they have this mural where it's like, he said there was like 14 years there where we were like basically tearing each other apart. Can you imagine how many people probably died during that time?
Yeah, no, they went through some scary things, as you would expect, as people are.
An entire planet that is drug dependent, they would probably hurt each other a lot. So it was good to check in on this planet. I'm glad the writers of Lower Decks didn't forget about them. But yeah, this is how the episode begins, and we get a briefing from, what is his name? Admiral Buenamigo about the swing by initiative that Captain Freeman has been pushing since season 1. I think we get a sort of we get an allusion to at the beginning of the episode, and also later on in the episode when the drop in on the Narans doesn't go off very well. She mentions the Landru planet. I think that's the first time it occurs to her that we should check in with these people a little bit more. The Landru computer that enslaved the people. So that was a reference to episode I think 22 of TOS. Someone hadn't checked in on that planet since Kirk's time, which is almost 100 years. So that's where she got the idea. And she mentions it in this episode. And like I said, she's on edge because this reporter is on the ship. And in her estimation, they don't run a tight ship. So she has all the senior officers running around and putting up like a fake show of what. Yeah.
It's looking like they have more together. Which, I mean, I feel like for the things that they go
I think they're fine.
They're still like, they're fine. They're having fun.
Yeah, which is to Beckett's point, I think. I think everyone has pride in the ship. And we can jump forward a little bit to like the altercation that she has with her. But I think they also sort of have not low self-esteem. They have an inferiority complex.
I feel like California class they do the dirty work.
They're not the flagships of the forward ships. So they have an inferiority complex. So they assume the way that they're doing things isn't the best way of doing things. Yeah, but given all the stuff that they actually go through, they're actually doing a great job. And I think it seems like Beckett is the only one who actually sees that, or because when she actually went to talk to the reporter, that she basically said all nice things, but the way that Beckett carries herself. So it was really suspicious the way that she was trying to hound down this reporter. We're not acting like we really act. This reporter really needs to know. If I was anyone else on the ship, I would be also very suspicious.
But Beckett also has a reputation of talking badly about Starfleet. Right? I don't think she's far enough away from that for people to really trust that she would say nice things. She constantly complains about the bridge crew. I mean, we've seen her soften her stance, right? So that the episode where she and Boimler were at the job fair and she was defending Starfleet, right? So you see that, but her public persona and attitude is still, she's still pretty tough on Starfleet. So I certainly thought, oh gosh, she's
gonna definitely pop. I thought she was gonna pop off, but like the whole time she was acting like I didn't say anything wrong, and I thought it was a kind of a mix of the things. Like she didn't realize what the words that she was saying, how damaging they could be, and it was completely opposite. Like everyone else didn't realize how
exactly. It's really nobody said anything.
Yeah, right. They were just telling their story. They were just being honest. Yeah.
It's just that they had some experiences, and so to somebody from the outside looking in, the reporter I think just took it wildly, made it
chaos, right? And it seemed because when she came on the ship, it seems like she had never been on a ship before, because Freeman was like, have you ever seen a warp core before? It's like, you haven't seen a warp core before? Pretty sure the shuttle that brought you here probably has a warp core. Like, so she's probably never been on a ship before, like a Starfleet ship. So yeah, she doesn't understand that on the frontier, a bunch of stuff happens.
But she also, because she made a comment.
Class,
like, seems like home.
And Freeman was like, Arizona really kind of close to California. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, she doesn't seem very prepared at all. I feel like you should probably, putting aside actually researching the class of ship that you're doing the reporter, maybe know the namesake states. I don't know. I guess I can't tell how like ignorant that is, given that she's part of the Federation, which is part of a group of several planets, so she doesn't really think of herself as an American.
Yeah.
There's probably lots of different planets, lots of different cities and things that, you know,
Like in that perspective, California is really
yeah,
Arizona.
exactly. Yeah. So at the beginning, I think there was also like a pie contest. Like they don't set her up very well to seem like she's gonna say something serious. Like she's covered in like blueberries from this.
Blueberry, and there's a trail, so they really do make you think.
She's still a mess.
She's just gonna be a mess.
Yeah. There was a little thing that I noticed that like her name is, first of all, they make jokes with people's names. So her name was Victoria Nuzé.
Yes.
The little badge that she had basically had the CBS symbol in the middle of it as well. Anyway, they also make a joke about, Freeman cancels the pie eating contest, and Boimler says something to the effect is like, this is the biggest crew night of the year besides a pond farce. So I don't even know what that is, but I assume it's like a joke on pond far. I don't know. So yeah, they, like I said, they visit the Anarans and they seem to be thriving besides the 10 to 14 years of fact that
they might be exercising a little too much.
Yeah, like the conversation, like I said, they try to toe the line of not criticizing Picard because I feel like they don't want to criticize, like the actual showrunners of the show don't want to criticize Picard because that they know that probably anger people. They leave that to the people who actually write Picard to criticize him, because like even in Picard they have people saying, I'm tired of your long speeches and things like that, but like, they're running the Picard show, but they don't want to be on another show and then criticize Picard. So they don't criticize him directly, but like indirectly, these people were not okay for a long period of time. And the magistrate that comes out who speaks to them, Ransom thinks that he has like common cause with him, and he asks how much they lift, and he says, we don't really lift for that, we lift to keep the voices, or was it the voices out of our head, or something like that, something to that effect. Keep their voices out of their head. And so it was interesting. They definitely are not, they're okay, but they need a planet-wide like therapy. That's what Starfleet should extend to the entire planet. Let's see, after that,
they get the idea that since they seem okay,
they should go to the Brackens.
Ransom who says they should check out.
That's when the conversation about Landry comes up.
Because they were in worse shape than the Onar. I guess their planet was in worse shape, and that's a totally different. No people, when they discover that Green invaded, and I guess pretty much wiped out
a good part of the population. Yeah, and this is actually like in between there they have the confrontation with Beckett. So going back a little bit, after they come back from the Anarans is when she forces her way to speak to the reporter. And again, it looks suspicious. Ransom sees her do this, and she makes a point of doing this, and it doesn't look, even to the audience, it doesn't look great. I will say that at this point, they have 3 seasons. Usually they reference other things, like when she was talking to Buenamigo on the surface of the planet. Buenamigo's like, check to see whether or not the planet isn't controlled by kids, and the devil, which was like references to a TOS episode, and also the episode where that woman pretended to be a devil. Where she pretended to be the devil of that planet. But like when the woman is like pounding Freeman, there's just like all these references to just older episodes of this show now. So now they can be self-referential. So you mentioned the Strange Energies episode where Ransom becomes a big head. She mentions the Room for Growth episode that was in, I think, this was actually in this season, where the captain goes to the spa and then has a breakdown. She references the Doopler, when the guy who duplicates, when he's embarrassed, she drops him into to that party.
S9.
She references the Pandora drill instructor, the one who was trying to get them to fail, who had multiple heart attacks. She mentions the head of security that became a puppet. So I had to look that up because I didn't remember that exact. But we see it at the end of the episode. The Caisson, when he took over for Shaxs, before Shaxs came back from the dead, he turned into a puppet. He turned into a puppet the first time. Then there was a spear-wielding aliens, which was the episode when Ransom and Beckett were like trapped on the planet, and there was like some crystal or something like that, and then they attacked the ship. The Quark episode was this season. The Exocomp episode was this season as well. And then they mentioned Q, but I only saw Q show up once in the Veritas episode. The last thing she says is that Q shows up a lot, but I assume the joke there is that we don't actually see Q except for people talking about the fact that Q shows up, because in that episode they were recounting that the bridge crew was taken over by Q. But yeah, they have now banked quite a bit of weird stuff that has happened to them that they can actually list those things off. I feel like the only part of this episode that was a little bit over the line for me is like she seems properly mad at Beckett. Like the conversation that she has with her is like properly,
Yeah.
I think, the right tone for what she thinks happened until the last thing that she says. So she says, what the hell did you say to her? You went out of your way to make me look like a fool. You told lots of terrible things out of context. When are you going to grow up? You have absolutely no concept of when to shut your mouth. All these things, I feel like, seems in line with Beckett. Like I don't think any of this is like out of line. And then she says, you want to backstab, complain, and be hard to work with, then I'm going to send you to Starbase 80. And she wants her off the ship before they get to Brecca. But then she says, you're no longer my ensign and no longer my problem, and I'm not even sure you're my daughter anymore. I feel like the no longer my daughter anymore is a little bit over the line. I don't know. She's angry. But like, seriously.
She's angry, but also this like pushing for this second contact mission for California class ships, I think has been a long-term goal of hers. And it's like I can start to see how she
her daughter's
feels
sabotaging
like,
her.
Yeah, like that she just completely didn't listen and now has made her look really bad. And by extension, just made the whole idea and the scheme look bad. And just the repercussions of that. And I think especially because they made progress, right? So I see how this could feel like we were making progress and now you do this. And it set me even further back and just like the anger. And people say things they don't
This
really
is true.
mean in the heat of the moment. Yeah, so I think in that sense, because like she doesn't actually want, and I feel like even her hedging, like I don't even know if I can call you my daughter. Is just
I guess it is a hedge, yes. Yeah.
I'm so mad, but I'm not gonna disown you. But I wish I could. So she's still conflicted. Yeah, and especially after all like Captain Freeman's been through, right? He's been arrested and or put on trial, and so they've been through some stuff. But still,
it was like my eyes were just as wide as Beckett's when she was like. Dawnn Lewis does a really great job with her voice acting here. She seems properly like Ransom in the way that they have Ransom reacting to the captain. Yeah, she's so angry. So she gets sent off to Starbase 80, and the people, which I guess it was like Chekhov's gun. Like they keep talking about Starbase 80 all throughout the season. Ransom even mentions it and mentioned it in previous seasons. So, like, we get someone from Starbase 80 show up and we see why no one wants to go there. They have a sandwich wrapped around her uniform. They just seem... I don't even understand how the Starbase is a part of Starfleet. What are they processing? Like, waste or something?
I don't know. That's the impression I get. Like, they're processing waste. You don't need to be, like, super smart or really any...
So why even assign officers to this? Why even assign officers to there? I don't understand. We could just... Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
Like at that point, I feel like maybe put me in the brig.
Yes, and this is what they do with her usually. They put her in the brig. Like and at this point, like she's had a career of being either reassigned or being put in the brig. And from their perspective, it hasn't gotten through to her. So now Starbase 80. Yeah, I was half confused. I feel like Jennifer's reaction was also a little harsh, but again, she does make a good point. She's like, this is who you tell everyone you are. Like, you tell it how it is. And like, why would I think you didn't do this? Yeah. But she does seem like really hurt. And even then I was like, is Beckett like just not self-aware of what she said? Like, even Boimler.
Yeah, I was truly conflicted because I was like, because I'm like, she talks crap, right? I'm like, so does she really not realize that she said something that reflected poorly on the ship? Again, that's who she is. That's what she does. And we just saw like in the previous episode where Boimler, when he found out or thought his clone died, and like she didn't pick up on his mood change. She just kept her like talking.
Yeah, that's her personality. She might not have picked up on the clues. But she really at this point feels like everyone is against her. She mentions like the frame of mind episode where Riker thinks that he's going crazy. Is this a frame of mind situation? She doesn't know. And like at this point you're kind of like, is she going crazy? Because there's a lot of extreme reaction. Like, she gets onto the bridge and everyone's looking at her and very angry with her before she even goes into the room to talk to her mother, and then she's going through the hallways and everyone's angry. So it would seem it could be like a frame of mind thing. So like she's going crazy and everyone's against her, but also Beckett is Beckett as well. We've seen her for the last couple years and she says whatever she wants. So which is why also Boimler and Tendi and Rutherford respond the way that they do. I think that they are the most upset about her leaving, but they're also like, just apologize for what she thinks that you did instead of course you didn't do it. Yeah, it was interesting the way that what I was thinking of is like the boy who cried wolf. Like at this point it really doesn't matter that she said something innocuous. The way that she has conducted herself makes everyone think that she hasn't said anything innocuous.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. And she just has to do the work to like make people realize that's
She
not
is
who she
anymore.
is
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. But yeah, that all happens. And then we get to Brecca and we see that it's deserted and that the Breen, who we haven't seen since the end of the Dominion War when they signed that treaty, has taken over this planet. Yeah, so the Breen has taken over, and this episode has a lot of extreme points. All the stuff was with Beckett was like very upsetting. And then they atomize a girl on the planet in front of Ransom. So they have an emergency transport out of there, and they go to red alert. And it looks like they're about to be destroyed because they're surrounded by 3 ships. But they want to board them. I don't know what they want to board them for, because they haven't really fleshed out the Breen that much. Like, what do they want to skim them or something? Or I don't understand what their mission is. But then a ship comes and saves them. I think it's called the Texas class Alito is the name of it. And yeah, and then the Admiral Buenamigo explains the ship is an autonomous ship. And yeah, and Freeman is like, what the heck just happened? Because it was really weird. But I don't know.
Yeah, because he totally upstaged her. Because now it's, this autonomous ship, just this brand new, like, secret ship. Nobody knew it. just saved you from 3
It
Breen
just happened
ships.
it happened to be in the area.
It eclipsed because they were like they discovered this Breen incursion, but that immediately gets overshadowed by the fact that they had to be rescued by
this autonomous ship.
Yeah, by this. So
yeah, it's super weird that I understand shuttles have warp as well. So, but they wait, like, it's a sister planet, so it's not that far away from Anara. So did they just wait for the shuttle from Starbase 80 to show up before they went over to because they could have gotten there in a few seconds if they wanted to, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess she did say they weren't going over to see the Brecca until the shuttle.
So she's off her ship. But like, it wasn't clear to me during that emergency, like how far away they were from other ships that could respond. But I guess in the heat of an emergency, really, you could be dead in a few minutes, or so it really doesn't matter if they hailed someone. But yeah, he was there very quickly. They quickly and upstaged the Breen invasion thing, which they thought was going to be the main focus of the news report. But her news report ended up being an expose on the entire ship. And as we mentioned earlier, the entire ship basically disparaged the ship unintentionally, except for Beckett.
No, because they weren't
stories about what happened.
At all. They were just they're just talking, and it would be horrifying, right? If you hear these things. So
some of it was a little bit of backbiting. Friends was like, oh, the ops doesn't need like a vacation like engineering does. But it was interesting to see, because like I think they kind of set up the audience as well. Like if you've been watching the show for the last 3 seasons, Beckett is who she is, so you wasn't expecting her to say her mom is the best captain in Starfleet, and the crew is a family, and she has a double family on the ship. It's all very sweet things. In which case, you could understand why she thought she was going crazy, because everyone. But I don't know. She thought she was going crazy because of what she actually said, but it also lacked the self-awareness to realize everyone was responding to her because of the way she acted in the past.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. So by the end, Freeman tries to contact Beckett, but she's left Starbase 80, and this is where we get Petra showing up again. Petra Aberdeen, where she saw, as you mentioned in the earlier episode, when they were in the job fair booth, the one that was poking at her, but also left her number, and she saved. So I guess she's gonna be an archaeologist. So that's how the episode ends, and then we run into the next episode next week. So yeah, it was a good episode. It was I'm interested to see where all this goes. Not just Beckett, but including the expose that was done. Whether or not Freeman is going to be in trouble because of how the ship looks. Yeah.
And the AI ships, because that always worked out well.
Exactly. All right. Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
No.
All right. That's what we think, but we're interested to hear what you guys think. So please comment down below, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our next review, and we will see you next time. All right, guys. Bye.